Hi, my name is Ad, and I'm the head of data science here at XYSense. In this video, I'll be giving you a quick introduction to XYSense's latest addition to the analytics platform, which is the Predictive Utilization dashboard. Now, as the name suggests, this dashboard assesses historical and current real estate utilization rates and uses predictive analytics to forecast what that utilization rate might look like in the coming weeks, months, or even years. Now, it's targeted at real estate planners, occupancy planners, and real estate managers alike, whose goal is to set out realistic utilization targets among all workplace teams, and then track those targets over time. So let's take a look at how to use this dashboard. After inputting a target percentage or target utilization percentage and a date range over which you want to analyze your data, you can scroll down here and the dashboard will actually plot your utilization over time, as well as calculate an average weekly utilization growth, which is based off that historical data. And then we can extrapolate this growth to determine when you might hit certain utilization targets for your entire portfolio, as well as per building and floor within your portfolio. So with this data, it becomes easy to track which parts of your portfolio are growing the fastest and which are lagging behind. Now, if you're currently navigating your team's return to office planning, then this is the dashboard for you. As most companies around the world are embracing flexible working and exploring hybrid working models, it is clear that the physical workplace remains critical to company culture and recovery. And most workplaces around the world are eager to implement these RTO strategies as soon as possible. But it's not as easy as opening up the floodgates all at once, because of course there might still be government restrictions in place, or companies might have even employed their own social distancing safety rules and occupancy restrictions, for example, within certain parts of their floor space. So it's therefore critical to have a reliable source of truth around how your office space is being utilized, whether you're trending up or down and by how much, and finally, how much space do you need for your teams to work effectively and collaborate effectively. So that leads me to this example here, where you can see that a company has two offices, one in Melbourne and one in Sydney, and each of those offices has 3 floors. And this company has set a countrywide policy to target a 50% utilization rate within their offices and for their portfolio by the end of Q1 2022. And as you can see, for the entire portfolio, this company actually looks like it's going to miss that target. But if we break down into the buildings and floors, it paints an interesting story, because the Melbourne office in particular will actually reach that target by Q1 2022 with a pretty strong growth rate of 0.7% week to week. And interestingly, it's actually starting off at a lower point, only showing 18% utilization currently. In comparison, the Sydney office starts off at a higher utilization rate, but is growing much slower, and as a result is expected to miss that target significantly. If we scroll down, we can see all the floors in the Melbourne office are exhibiting relatively similar behavior. So all the floors are around the 17 to 19% utilization and are growing consistently between 0.7 and 0.9% week to week. However, the Sydney office is showing quite different behavior. One floor is growing relatively steadily at 0.3%, but the other 2 floors are somewhat flatlining. And in fact, level 36 of the Sydney office is slightly on the decline. So if I come in here to input the Sydney office and level 36, and I reload this dashboard, you'll be able to see in their utilization over time graph that despite exhibiting some relatively high utilization figures of above 30%, there isn't really a strong growth. It's in fact, if anything, it's on the slight decline. And that's clearly a problem, because as part of the RTO strategy, you want to see more people coming into the office over time. So perhaps it's an opportunity to take a look at your portfolio, and particularly the Sydney office in level 36, to understand why this might be occurring, and to consider, for example, opening up more space in level 36, or perhaps loosening capacity restrictions in certain parts of the floor. Now, an alternative way of looking at this problem is how can we optimize our real estate portfolio instead? So we can look at this problem as in the Sydney office, we have two floors that are relatively stable in terms of their utilization, and they both have quite similar utilization metrics. So this leaves the opportunity open to consolidate both of those floors onto an individual floor and potentially sublease out the remaining floor. And this has the clear benefit of easing the financial burden of the company's underutilized office space, and therefore aiding the company's bottom line as well with that additional revenue from the subleasing. So it's clear that the predictive utilization dashboard can be an invaluable tool in a range of different use cases, whether you're talking about day-to-day RTO strategy and planning, or whether you're talking about long-term portfolio and lease management. Now, the value in these insights comes from having this trustworthy, fine-grained data built up over weeks and months. And that's because the world we live in today is constantly in flux. And conducting point-in-time utilization studies is no longer an effective way of painting the full picture of office utilization. Now, speaking of office utilization, it's important to stress that utilization is much more than just a head count over time, which you can obtain from, let's say, speed data or badge data. Now, those metrics have no way of telling you how your actual office space is being utilized, which is more important than ever in today's world of the hybrid workplace. Now, with XY Sense, you have access to the widest coverage sensor on the market, as well as real-time accurate utilization data on all areas of your office space. And this includes all areas, including desks, meeting rooms, and even open collaborative areas such as soft seating and kitchen booths, for example. Now, we also boast the most comprehensive analytics on the market, being able to derive not only high-level insights, such as the one you saw in predictive utilization, but also how individual spaces and space types are being utilized within each office space. So for example, if we investigate a little bit further into what's going on in the Sydney office level 36, I can pull open the recently released Popular Spaces dashboard, where if I filter down to Sydney office level 36, you can see that the total time being spent in the office is decreasing, which was clear from looking at that utilization metric, but also specific space types within my office are exhibiting that decline much stronger than others. So if I take a look at the breakout spaces, there's a clear trend line down and to the right, similarly with project spaces as well. So it's clear that specific areas within 36 are perhaps the problem within this office, and people are using these spaces less and less. So it might be an opportunity and the next step to liaise with local facility and space managers to understand why that might be the case in the Sydney office. So wrapping up, predictive utilization is just one of the many specialty dashboards that we have on offer, available to all XY Sense customers right now. So if you're interested in how you can use predictive utilization, or more broadly, XY Sense's analytics to provide value to your business, then please follow the prompts to book in a time with myself and our team. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.